us today, we have the Polish Ambassador to Ireland. Welcome, Ambassador.
Hello, Marty. Pleasure to see you again.
Thank you very much, there. And basically what we want to talk about is you.
Oh.
Okay, and you're the person behind the title of Ambassador. Just give us a little background, where you grew up, that kind of a background of your family and stuff.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure. Maybe not to talk about myself because I'm a very modest person, but I think it's always good to show a different side of the coin, because of course I am the ambassador of Poland to Ireland, but I am also a private person. So I come from a family that we used to call in Poland 2+2. Parents and 2 children. Me and my sister. I have an older sister. She lives in the Netherlands because she married a Dutchman. She has 2 boys. One of them is my godson. I'm very proud of that. And I am a mom of 20 years old boy whose name is Karol, and now he's a student at University College Dublin. I'm also very proud of him. So, I'm just an ordinary person who has her own hobbies, interests. As I said, I'm coming from a loving family, people who support each other all the time during our life. My parents are over 80, but we are still in a very good contact, and we meet for Christmas, Easter. We spend holidays together. So, in principle, this is my family story.
You mentioned your parents there. They were very active in sport. Your father played soccer, your mother was a volleyball player. It must have been great to have parents so active in sport, because sport is such a great outlet for everybody.
Oh, absolutely. And I keep underlying that they met in a sport club. So this was the love that started in a sport club, and they somehow like to be active, and they were active during their life. And I think they instilled this passion for sport and active life in me and my sister, and now our children. So we are very grateful for that, and of course sport plays a very important part in our life. My favorite sport is cycling, and you might have seen a very nice short movie that we prepared. In fact, 2 movies that we prepared in the embassy about cycling, one with children and the other one with the ambassadors here in Dublin, and we were very proud of that short movie because we think it's very important, especially now when we talk about climate change and but also about active life. I think bicycle is an ideal thing, and cycling is an ideal sport to practice.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I did see those 2 videos, and I was very impressed with the video of the female ambassadors. I think that was a wonderful thing. And like, if could you see that, we say, if we had a young Polish or a young Irish or any nationality, and they're watching these ladies that hold that position, surely you must make them a role model to kind of say, one day I'd like that. I think it was a great video from that point of view. Would you agree?
Well, thank you very much for this opinion. I love this video, and also the enthusiasm of my female colleagues. That's what we wanted to do, to show, to send a positive message to young girls all over the world, because as you could have seen, we represented many countries of the world, almost all the continents, and we just wanted to show them that anything is possible if you try, and if you have your own ambitions, you can achieve many things in your life.
Because gender equality is something that's very dear to our hearts in Twilight, and all our programs we tend to do the selection process using that kind of a criteria or a template that we do that. And you just mentioned, it's something that was going to bring up there, but just now that we've discussed it, is if there was somebody who did see you as role models and would like to go down that road as a career path, is there anything that they should be kind of looking at now that they're maybe a 13, 14, 15, 16, maybe going into leaving cert or onto college? Is there something that they should say, well, look at, you really should look at this?
Oh yes, of course. I think first of all, one has to, maybe it sounds boring, but one has to study foreign languages. This is the window to, and the window that opens many opportunities and gives you chance to do things that some people cannot do. Secondly, you have to think about whether your personality is the proper one. What I would like to say is that you need to like the people. You can't be afraid of public meetings, public speeches. You have to be flexible. If you think of becoming a diplomat, you have to think about this job not as a regular job, but as a service and a mission. You don't work from 9 to 5. You work 24 hours a day. So it's a very challenging job, but at the same time, I have to say that I would not change this job for any other because it's fantastic and gives you lots of satisfaction.
Yeah, and you mentioned languages there, and funny enough, in previous programs, that actually has come across. Everyone has said to us, languages, you should go on languages. And across Ireland, we have some excellent Polish schools. And that now Polish is on the curriculum here. That's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yes, it is fantastic, and we are all so proud of that, because in fact it was the effort of some of my predecessors, also my colleagues in the consular section, who were in constant contact with the Irish institutions. First of all, post-primary languages Ireland, and we are very grateful to all those colleagues, to Karen Rudok, who was very, very helpful. I think it's a great success because, of course, we have lots of Polish weekend schools, places which are very important, not only for the children but also for the teachers and for parents. These are places where our kids they learn, not learn, but they practice Polish and they learn about the Polish history. But in fact, before they didn't have a chance to have regular Polish lessons in Irish schools. Now it's possible, and it's really fantastic because they also feel part of the community, of the Irish society, and yeah, we are very happy.
Yeah, no, I think it was a great initiative, it was a great step. You mentioned Carol. He's in UCD. You're very proud of him?
Oh, I'm very proud of him because, you know, when we moved to Ireland, he was already 18, so teenager or adult, depends how you look like. But he had to go to the secondary school. In fact, started his education in a foreign language, in a foreign country, in a system which was different from the Polish one. So for him it was a big challenge and he had some difficult moments. However, we were lucky, and I have to congratulate all the teachers in this college because they were so helpful, so open, and always took care of him. So he somehow succeeded after this difficult time, after the lockdown when there was no school. And he succeeded with the Living Certificate and now started history and politics in UCD.
Politics, so he's following in the family footsteps.
Well, you can say so. I'm not a politician. In fact, I represent my government, but I'm a career diplomat, right. Which means that I started my career as a civil servant, and I am civil servant, even though now of course I represent the government.
It's something now that you just mentioned there about Carol and having to adjust it. I've asked other representatives as well. The fact that you can come to a country and you just put down your roots, and then suddenly, not suddenly, but you might have to move. or you get a different appointment. I actually mentioned this to a member of your staff, and when he told the number of countries he was in, I was very, very surprised. You know, how would you settle down? Is that a plus or a minus? You know what I mean? That you have to uproot yourself. Okay, you're going to a new country, new experience, but you have to leave what you've built behind.
Yes, that's true. In fact, there are advantages and disadvantages, of course. But I'm this kind of person who likes to discover new things. And I just accept that this is my job. I have to go and go back. So I'm really satisfied with what I'm doing, even though I'm sure that I will have to leave one day Ireland. But what I learn here, what people I meet here, it is just something that nobody will take away. Right. And this is the richness of this life and of this job. So for me, it's not really problematic to go to another country and to live there for some time and go back to Poland. I adore both. You know, I can be both in Poland and abroad. I just take the best of it.
Now, I don't know whether to name this person as your second child, but Gerda.
Yes, you can call it second child, absolutely. You know, this Nordic name, Gerda.
It sounds like she's growling at me.
Sounds like, yeah. Yes, my cat that we took from the animal shelter in Warsaw in 2015. In fact, it was my son who was from the first days when he was born. He loved cats. Right. He likes all the animals, but cats are his favorite. And for me, it was a bit difficult because I never had animals when I was a child. So I had to get used to it. Now I can say that I'm an expert in cats. Gerda lives with us here, so she's also a diplomat.
Yes, and I've noticed she has her. She's becoming a bit of a celebrity. I've seen she has her own favourite place to lie down in the residency now. Like
absolutely. I mean, she has lots of favourite places, but I think the best place is where it's where you have, for example, a warm floor that she can lie on and forget about the rest of the world.
It's funny you should mention it, because our house was always dogs, and I mean Japanese Akitas, Huskies. And now we haven't got a dog because he passed away after 10 years, right? And I was just saying to him, like, isn't the cat much handier? I don't have to bring her for a walk. You know,
that's true.
She just comes in and she does what she wants to do herself. And if she wants to sit in your lap, she sits in your lap. If she doesn't, she won't.
Exactly. You cannot tell her. She's very independent, and
So she'll travel the world with you if you do move. She'll be with you for.
Yes, you know, we took her 2 years ago from Warsaw to Dublin, and now she stays here. I'm lucky enough to have colleagues who would take care of her when we are, for example, when we are going on holiday. Right. So she's the main resident.
She's the boss.
Yes, she's the boss, absolutely.
Now, as we all know, there's a very large Polish diaspora in Ireland, but in around Kilkenny, they're very prominent, right? And we have a lot of businesses, okay, that are Polish-led, okay, and it's something that I've often wondered: are Polish underrepresented in Chamber of Commerce and should we look at? I know this is kind of gone to a different area now, but you know, where representation on our local government and something like that. It's something that I'm very interested in. I have to be honest, you know.
Absolutely, Martin. I would really agree very much with you. I think we are underrepresented, as we are probably. You know, we compete with the Romanians. Romanian friends would tell me that, oh, you know, we have larger minority here. It doesn't matter. They are both very large minorities. I think. It's really time for the Polish to be represented somewhere in the local government. If you have 100,000 Polish people here, it would be really fantastic to have somebody who would also represent, the region or this minority. Well, this is something that maybe we should work on.
I agree totally. One of the things that we came across when we were looking at was registering to vote. That was a big key. That there was very few that were actually registered to vote when we were talking about, which are 4 years out from the next local election, so there is time. But you've had a fantastic academic career. I was amazed when I was looking at it. You must have spent a lot of time working on the subjects that you covered.
Yeah, and it's quite an interesting story because, in fact, I graduated from Warsaw University. The faculty, which is probably this word does not exist in English. In Polish, I would try to translate it, resocialization. It means that it's a kind of social studies that prepare you to work with, criminals, drug addicts, youth with problems. So social work. I loved those studies. However, when I realized that what kind of job I would need to have, I decided to focus on something else. In fact, my first job was the Ministry of Health, and at that time, mid-90s, you can imagine that I was one of few people in this ministry who spoke foreign languages. So on the one hand it was bad, on the other hand it was good for me because I was proposed to go to the European Commission to Brussels to have a kind of stage, thanks to the fact that I spoke foreign languages. And when I went to the Commission, it was many years before our accession to the European Union, I realized that this is the potential, that I should really focus on that it's something that is very interesting. And moreover, there were colleagues from the foreign ministry, from the Polish foreign ministry, also at the same time in the European Commission, and they encouraged me to send my application. And this is how I sent my application to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I took part in the concours and I passed it. And this is how my kind of diplomatic career started in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I never thought about it. It was not my plan to become a diplomat. But, because of those different circumstances, I realized that it was something interesting, and I always wanted to work for Poland. To do something useful to help my country, and I think that's the main kind of conclusion of this long path to the ambassadorial posting.
Poland, right? We're representing Poland. What do you think of the soccer? Do you follow soccer?
Oh, of course, Marty. I have to tell you that I didn't watch the last match with Albania, but not. Of course, I wanted to watch it, but I had a important meeting at my residence at that time. I couldn't tell my guests to leave and or watch the soccer together. I'm a big fan of the Polish team, and I'm so happy they managed, even though the match was quite dramatic.
It was.
But also, when you look whether it's football or music or film or movies, it's always good to have good ambassadors of Poland, like Robert Lewandowski. Everybody knows he's from Poland, and he's a very much person devoted to our country, and he's very proud of being Polish. So we need such examples. They are very positive, and they also a role model for other people. Yeah,
and I think that I'm sure all the athletics in in the Olympics.
Olympics, yes,
There
and
was some
Paralympics
fantastic-
as well.
Para, yeah,
Oh,
Olympics,
I
yeah.
loved it. I
Yeah.
always, I'm a big fan of Paralympics. I think we should really do more for people, for disabled people. And I even have a plan in my mind to talk. I have an important meeting next week with one of the ministers, Irish ministers, about strengthening cooperation between Poland and Ireland on disabilities and the rights of people with disabilities.
Yeah, because actually, now that you mention disabilities, we actually put together a program for access for all, and that was to make sure that every place we went had access for all. It wasn't just, but we also, when we mentioned access, it was access to laptops. It was covering access and complete thing. But when you mentioned the likes of the sport and stuff like that, as you said, they're great ambassadors, And sport is a great way to bring different cultures together, isn't it?
Of course, absolutely. You may know that my colleague, Consul Grzegorz Sala, he organized a big kind of event on the occasion of 100th anniversary of Polish independence, and there were many runners wearing nice t-shirts, and not only celebrating 100th anniversary of Polish independence, but also making kind of building connection between the people, between the Poles and the Irish, and I think it's a fantastic tool.
And also now this is the 30th anniversary of the Polish Embassy here in Ireland.
Yes, we are celebrating, so we are young and energetic, 30 years old, yes. We had so many initiatives. One of my favorite was the beautiful mural that was painted in Portobello, very close to the canal. A mural symbolizing Polish-Irish friendship with two birds and beautiful flowers with typical elements of folklore, Polish and Irish folklore. What was quite interesting that we didn't know at the very beginning that there will be a beautiful reflection of this mural in the canal.
Oh, right,
so in fact we have two murals, and people running or jogging along the canal, they can admire both murals symbolizing Polish-Irish friendship.
And hopefully next year we'll have our Polska Festival back in person. But that was a great event that you put together 7 years ago. The embassy itself, and I know they were working with the government and all like that on it. And I think the last count was 162 or 63 venues pre-COVID.
Yeah, yes. What is even more interesting is that this year, during the lockdown, in fact, we had the online festival. So, as we can say, Polish people are so inventive. They can even think about organizing something which seems to us or to other people impossible. So we were very happy that we even could have this festival online. But we are all hopeful that next year we will have many events all over Ireland, also in Poland.
I remember actually when it started, and I think there was one in Limerick, one in Kilkenny, and one in Dublin.
Oh, yes.
That's how small it was, And it just...
I can't wait to see it in person,
yeah,
really.
It's brilliant. And before we finish, right, is there anything that you'd like to leave as your legacy, some particular project that's dear to your heart?
Yes, of course, there are many of them. I think that I would love to have this project, Strzelecki project, about the Polish nobleman who helped so many people during the Irish famine, to be really present everywhere. Maybe an exhibition in one of the famous Irish museums. Also, I would love to have strong cooperation, scientific cooperation, and I would like to launch next next January project called Łukaszewicz. It was the Polish professor who was invited by Imon de Valera after the Second World War and contributed very much to the development of Faculty of Logic and Mathematics. Culture, history, science, but also I would love to work more on trade relations. It's not easy, especially after the lockdown, but this would be also important from my perspective. And as any ambassador, close political contacts.
If you'd like to say something directly to the Polish diaspora, even in Polish, okay, and just to kind of say hello, because this will be viewed by hopefully many of our Polish diaspora and people that we work with, and also across other communities as well. But if you'd like to just finish on what you'd like to say.
Oh, thank you so much. This is a very nice gesture. I would like, first of all, I would like to say that Polish diaspora and other diasporas, they should remember that they are a very important part of the Irish society, and they know their contribution is really great and important, but they always should remember about their roots, about their heritage, and they should cherish it. Więc dla moich rodaków chciałabym ten przekaz przesłać. Pamiętajcie o Polsce, pamiętajcie o swoich korzeniach, kochajcie Polskę i promujcie ją. I dziękuję Wam za wszystko, co robicie w tym kierunku. Wszystkiego najlepszego.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that was the Polish ambassador to Ireland, and we hope to have more programmes of the similar vein over the next few editions. Thank you very much for joining us.